Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing. This May the 5th, 2025. Afternoon cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology video. And we are the station that was built for you, the retail trader and investor, to give you truth, trust, education, and information. And we ask you to bell notification, hit that subscribe button on our way to 10,000 subscribers, as you are the most important part and the most valuable part and the critical part to get the information and education and truth with trust and integrity that you can expect. And if we look at what's going on in this altcoin video update, we look at Cardano, and you can see Cardano, ever since it got up there with the Donald Trump pump, it's been getting rejected, and we've been on top of this, letting you know the price was coming down. We've been in this nice up and sideways consolidation after we've had our double to nearly triple bottom locally on the Wix, just above the 40-cent level, where I think this price is ultimately going to go in Cardano. I think we're eventually going to hit that 40 cents. You got your major upper resistance, which is up here at the bottom part of this. I'm going to call it light blue resistance box at about 89 cents. But the moving averages that are stacked at 50 to 200 and 100 from red, green, blue, bottom to top above the price, as you can see, is acting as critical resistance, and that's the area that we've been watching out for. And the same setup in most of these coins that we're going to look at, as critical test and critical volatility warning on an area that could be heavily rejected because it's a technical area for rejection after a sustained bounce for the last 15 or 18 days. So that's what we're looking at right there with Cardano. If you stay below the conglomerate of moving averages like you are now with that most recent red candle in the daily time frame, that's very bearish. If you can get back on top of those moving averages, you're more shorter term bullish, right? If we look at, what's the next point? The Shiba Inu we looked at earlier, it's the same thing. Right now, you're below the moving averages, and you're below that 1326 with a bunch of zeros at the beginning, or the top part of this red resistance support box. And that's your critical area in Shiba Inu, is if you can't get back above that and get over that 50-day, that moving average that's slithering in the same spot, you're going to quickly come all the way down there to the bottom part of that red trading zone at a bunch of zeros, 9, 6. I can't see what that says. 967 maybe, that says down there. Right, so that's what we're watching out for with the Shiba Inu. And then if we go down here and look at, we'll start with some XCX. We haven't looked at that in a while. You can see XCX did what we were talking about, and this is nice that we're looking at this. You can see it had that beautiful pump off of a technical level, where if we go down here, we bounced all the way off that 0.00813, got above that purple resistance and support box, and then we looked at and targeted the 0.022 as your next area of major resistance. You got above it, but you can see the harsh wick. You got wick down there, then you got wick down again, and we were telling you if you couldn't hold this and find some support and get on the top of this, you're going to quickly come back down to the underneath support at our next major area of support, which is down here at the lighter purple box, right exactly where the 100-day moving average in blue is sitting, right? And you can see now we're just above that, and that's the area that we're going to look for some support, because that's an area that you would think there would be some brief support at the very minimum, because if you do end up breaking down out of this, and say the next day or 2 or 5 or 6 days a week, you're going to quickly, if you trade back into this purple trading box, you're going to quickly come back to the 200-day moving average in the daily time frame before there would be any kind of support. And then if you couldn't get supported on that, or you traded out for a few days, like say in a week to 10 days, you've been trading sideways and down, and you get back into this purple trading box, and you trade down to the 200-day moving average, back up to the top part of this purple resistance zone, and get rejected again, and you start to trend down. Before you know it, you'd be back. No, we still another day, another hour, another video, but the consistency of not wanting that ad or whatever they're advertising remains the same. Before you know it, you could be back all the way down here from where the move started. So you're at a critical support level in the XCN price. VTHO is another one that had a phenomenal pump a couple of months ago, and we told you what that was all about. When we diagnosed and sniffed this out, we said we were likely to come all the way back down. We had that .002 and change light blue down there where you bounced off of, and we said this was an area that you would have to look at to bounce off of, which is where we were forecasting down there originally, where we thought unlocked the 200-day moving average would be, or the 100-day, and you can see now it's down there. You're just below the 50-day moving average. You had a big pump, and you came up to your technical resistance level like we thought we would, and now we're trading back down. And the two things that you got to watch out for is if you keep trading back down, do you hold support on this, and that's your next leg to the rally, or do you rally a little bit, these moving averages in the daily start trending down, and then you start using that as major resistance, that .002152. That's a critical area, because if you look back out on here, that's a critical area of support and resistance all the way back from the last major couple of pumps. You can see after the pump, major support, after the pump and on the dump, major support to major resistance to major resistance to major support. This is a very critical level with the VTHO coming right here, sitting here at the .0021 and change. You need to hold that or you become very, very bearish, right? The same thing as we're looking at with the, oh wow, that thing's sliding now. The same thing what we're looking at with the LCX. You can see we had that beautiful pump that we talked about could happen off of a technical level that you bounced, and you wicked up to almost beautifully. Look at where you wicked up to, almost to that orange resistance box, and that was something that we were watching out for. But we said if you get rejected by there, which you're likely to, and now you can see you're back below that critical in green, the 14.5 cents left to right in green. That's just below the 50-day moving average, and the price is just below both of those. That's a critical support level that it's attempting to flip it as resistance, and that's something that we need to pay attention to in LCX over the next couple of days, because if that holds it as resistance and confirms it and flips it, your next target is all the way down there at .092. If you can hold this and get major volume to spike in and work your way through these overhead moving averages, because you got the 50-day is right above it, and you got the 100-day and 200-day above those as major upper resistance. This is a critical spot for LCX, and this is something that we're going to continue to watch and pay attention to over the next couple of days. And this is my last coin. We'll take a look at some XRP and briefly the Bitcoin, because we're almost to my mother's for her birthday party, right? You can see the Bitcoin is still down 1.78% on the day. It's still below the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average, and just above the critical $2.09 neckline, as we do know that's your head and shoulders neckline, where if we break that and eventually confirm it as resistance and flip it from support, we're coming back to the $1.99, eventually to the $1.61 wick low from a couple of weeks ago, and ultimately down there at the head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern, first mover advantage. You can take a look at that in any video that I've made since about January the 10th of 2025. We've been talking about the head and shoulders. We've been following being 10 steps ahead in the first mover advantage, the power and the value of Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, keeping you looking out for the retail trader and investor to profitability on a 70 degrees and slightly overcast with some sunshine just north of downtown Detroit, inside the mobile compound in the great state of peace and love. The Rock Eyebrow, J.